Morning guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm feeling pretty good this morning, I have to say. Hope you enjoyed your rest day yesterday if you're following my 28-day plan. If you're not, why not? What else have you got to do during lockdown? Okay, so we're going to do a live quads and glutes session this morning, which is something that I've not done before, so we shall see how it goes, especially not with this much equipment. But I'm going to kind of give you some tips this morning on how you can exercise and maximise those gains during lockdown without having too much equipment at your disposal, so stay tuned for that. Before we start this workout, it goes without saying, I said it on Tuesday as well, please don't do this if you're feeling unwell or if you have any severe injuries. It's really, really important that you don't do that. I'm not there to kind of critique you and have a look at you, so you have to make a decision about whether you are fit and well to do this. Have some water at your disposal. Take a rest if you need to. This is not going to be like an aerobic session. This is more like a lifting workshop to give you some tips and technique critique on certain exercises. So we're going to focus on quads and glutes today, but before we start, and whilst a few people hopefully will join us, if they don't, hopefully we'll do the session later, so I'll just carry on regardless. We're going to start with a few dynamic stretches just to get us warmed up. So get yourself a mat or somewhere comfortable to stretch. We're going to take ourselves down onto the floor, onto all fours. I'm going to do a cat-cow pose, so head up, spine down, and take it all the way up. Exhale as you come down, all the way up. Breathe out as you come down, bring that spine all the way down. Okay. Right, whilst we're down here, we're going to do some glute kickbacks. Bring that knee into the chest, take it all the way back towards your bottom, really feel that stretch. Going to do 6 on each side. 2, 3, 4, 2 more, 5, 6. Okay, swap sides. I see so many people come into the gym and just start a workout without any stretching or mobility, and for me it's just a massive no-go. You might be able to feel like you can get away with it in your teens or early 20s, but trust me, as you get older it's going to become more and more important. Okay, so we're going to take ourselves up into a high plank, push those heels into the floor, bring yourself down into a cobra stretch up, take yourself up, and back down. Okay, and just do some arm circles, warm those arms up. Good, okay. Right, I'm feeling a little bit more fluid, a little bit more mobile, so I think we're probably ready to start. So what I'm thinking we're going to start with today's squats. A lot of people have messaged me and said, oh, I don't have any weights, what am I going to do? And I would say to you 2 things. One is, there's always something you can do to make an exercise harder, whether that's increasing the time that you perform the exercise or increasing the volume, putting the time under tension. You can use other instruments that you can find around your house. I'm going to be using this today. It's filled with water. It's got a handy little handle, so it's a little bit like a kettlebell. Something like that is super. Okay. The other thing to say is perhaps this is a really, really great opportunity for you to focus on your technique so that when you get back to your heavy lifting, your technique is just so much better that actually your lift improves. So it could be an opportunity for you to do that. So we're going to start off with some squat mobility. What I want you to do, give yourself some space, take yourself down into your squat, pop your elbows on the inside of your knee, and we're going to open and close that door. Push in and out, really gentle, just open up those hip flexors. There we go. Come up. Hold it, squeeze those glutes in and out, and back down, push in and out. And then whilst you're down here, you're going to take one arm all the way up. Hold that squat, push those heels into the floor, and back down. side. Now, if you don't have a barbell at home, you can use a broom handle, and it is super for squatting because it does the job of a lightweight bar for mobility purposes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down into a squat, we're going to hold it there, we're going to push that bar up, hold that squat position. This is so good for mobility. Keep those shoulder blades back, elbows forward, push up and out. Here we go, up and down, hold that squat, and then come up. Okay, we're going to do this a few times just to improve mobility. If you find that your heels are constantly coming off the ground when you squat, you can pop a couple of plates underneath them. And if you don't have any plates at home, just find yourself a bit of wood or something from your garden. Okay, 2 plates underneath my heels. I'm going to pop that bar on my back, squeeze that core nice and tight, come down into a squat. I'm finding that I can get much more depth on that. Push up. This is the drill. Raise yourself up and back down. Keep those elbows facing forwards, head and chest up, core nice and tight. Good. This is super mobility drill for squats. Okay. You can keep this to do your squats with if this is all you've got. If you haven't got a dumbbell or a kettlebell, don't worry about it. Like I say, you can improvise. I've filled up a milk bottle with water, you can use that. I'm going to start with the broom handle on my back. Keep my core nice and tight, feet sort of roughly shoulder width apart, head and chest up, down a cut. Now I'm lucky enough to have a squat rack at home, so obviously I would normally be lifting a lot heavier than this. However, if you want a really easy way of making your squats harder, you need to put the time under tension. So a really good way of doing that is by counting to 5 on the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Come up explosively. Keep that head and that chest up. Core nice and tight. Come down really slow. See how much tension I'm putting on the time there? I'm making my quads work so much harder. The slower, the better. If you have got a dumbbell, you can do this with a goblet hold. Hold it like this. Keep your head and your chest up. Core tight. Another way of increasing the tension, getting more out of this, is to pulse at the bottom. Hold your dumbbell nice and high. Keep that head and chest up. Down you come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. Okay, so you've got about 3 or 4 different variations there. Using a broom handle, you can use a milk bottle. Like I say, if you don't have a kettlebell or you don't have a dumbbell, you can use a milk bottle. This filled with water, or 2 of these held by the side, or even better held there, does the job, okay? Especially if you put that time under tension, maybe add a pulse at the bottom. Hi, you're just joining us. Hello, hello. I'm going to pop that to one side. Okay, so that's squats dealt with. And don't forget your mobility drill as well. I really cannot express how much I think this is a really important thing to do. If you're looking for more depth on your squats, that little sort of ninja mobility drill where you come down, press up and down a few times, then raise yourself up, it's so good for your squat mobility. And this is a perfect opportunity for those of you who've not got access to heavy weights and you would normally be lifting heavy. Perfect your technique. Why not? You've got 4 weeks to make it look fantastic so that when you get back in the gym, everything is as it should be. Okay? Right. We're going to move on to the Bulgarian split squat, which is one of my absolute favourite exercises, and the exercise that my clients groan every time I mention it. Oh no, not the Bulgarian split squat, but I really, really like it, and I'll tell you why. Because it's really important in order to address any muscular imbalances that we have in our body to exercise unilaterally. What I mean by that is that using one half of the body and then the other. If we're constantly doing exercises that involve both legs, we're never going to do that. We're never going to address those muscular imbalances, and everybody has a dominant leg. Because if I say to them, right, we're going to do a Bulgarian split squat, they always go to that dominant leg, and they do it without even thinking about it. So chances are, if they're right-handed, they're going to go for the right leg. Okay, so Bulgarian split squats are great as a home exercise because you can generally do them from your sofa. Sofas tend to be a very good height to do this from, okay? I've got a stepper, so I'm going to demonstrate on this. So this is also going to be a test of your balance as much as it is anything else. You're going to have a split stance. You're going to pop your toe backwards onto your bench, link your hands, and you're going to come down towards the floor, like so. Doesn't matter how much depth you're getting on this, just aim for as far as you can. If your knee's not getting anywhere near the floor, don't worry about it. Keep your core tight, keep your head and your chest up. We're going to add some weight to it in just a moment. All the way down and up. A couple of things that you should know about the Bulgarian split squat as well. The posture and positioning of the split squat determines which muscle you're working hardest, okay? The one that I just did there, where I'm fairly upright, is quad dominant. If you want to work your glutes more, then what you should be looking to do is have more of a lean when you come down, okay? So in other words, more like that. That's going to work your bottom and those glutes that little bit harder. Whereas if I come down, straight down like that, then it's far more quad dominant, okay? This is such a good exercise for a home workout because you really don't need heavy weights to make it effective. I can already feel like I'm working there, okay? Right, I'm going to add a bit of weight to it. So if you have a dumbbell, you can hold it in a goblet hold. If you don't have a dumbbell, get some one of these. Honestly, they're brilliant. Right, so foot resting on the bench behind us, nice and upright, core nice and tight, head and chest up, down we come to the floor. We're going to go for 6 reps on each leg, that's 1. Okay, so let's swap sides. Good. Okay. So you can see the difference. The one that I was doing there is far more quad dominant than it was glute dominant. If you want to achieve that a little bit more pressure on your glutes, then lean forward as you come into the exercise. Okay, let's grab some water. Okay, halfway through, so I'm going to whiz through a few more exercises. I would recommend that you do 3 sets of 8 to 12. I would aim for 12 in total, so 6 on each leg, 3 sets, and before you move on to the next one. So we've done squats, we've done some back squats, we've done some goblet squats, we've put the time under tension. We have done a pulse at the base of the squat as well, so that's going to really work you. The next one that I want to do is a reverse lunge. Now this is an exercise where, again, having minimal equipment is not going to cause you any great shakes, okay? So we can use a barbell, so we can pop that on our back. Just want to move our bench out of the way. Let's have a bit of space, okay? Core nice and tight, head and chest up, keep those elbows forward, hands equidistant on the bar, and then you're going to reach into that lunge and come up. This time I'm going to alternate my legs. 3, 4, squeeze that core. It's going to provide lots of stability for you. It's a good space saver exercise this as well. If you've not got the room to do a walking lunge, either inside or outside, although you can do them in the park, no excuses. Okay, so that's with a bar. If you have got a dumbbell, and I know lots of you have, again, you can hold it in a goblet hold, or if you've got two, you can hold them by your side. I like this position. Okay, and back. Keep that head and chest up, core tight, squeeze those glutes. Again, with this one, if you're looking to get more work in your glutes, then put a pulse on it, okay? So, you're gonna hold it really tight, keep that frame nice and locked out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. 2. Good. Okay, so you can see how, just by adding those little twists, that you can make those leg exercises really work for you. And one thing that I didn't mention at the start about the squats, a few people have said to me, oh, I really want to carry on doing my back squats and my front squats, but I don't have any weights. Get a rucksack and fill it with tins. Pop it on your back, make sure that it's nice and tight so that it's not sort of half hanging off your back and dragging your shoulders down, but you've got that nice tight frame. But adding that amount of weight to your squats, it's like wearing a weighted vest. So it's going to give you more bang for your buck, okay? So that's another thing that you can try. Right, let's move on to one of my absolute favourite glute exercises, and that is the single leg glute bridge. You're going to need something to lean on again. So again, a sofa is a really, really good piece of kit for this. It tends to be just the right height for resting that upper back on, okay? So I'm going to move the bench over here so you can see properly. And then this time, I find it's a little bit uncomfortable on the back, so what I like to do is to put my mat over the top, just suction that in a little bit. Okay, hopefully you can see me. So you're going to position yourself on the floor. You're going to have your feet planted firmly on the floor, heels on the floor. The upper part of my back is resting on the bench here, or the sofa, or whatever it is that you're using, okay? You're going to have one foot in, and then one leg outstretched, and we're going to go for 6 repetitions on each leg. Interesting thing about this exercise is that if you look at someone doing it, they might look as though they're doing it absolutely perfectly. But when I say to my clients, where are you feeling this exercise? If they say, my quads, then I know that we need to reposition their feet in order for it to be a successful glute exercise. So quite often people will feel it in their hamstrings, or they might feel it in their quads, but not in their glutes, and that can be about the foot positioning, okay? So again, I'm going to have my hands by the side, I'm going to raise myself all the way up, squeeze, and where you want to be feeling it is in that bottom. And down, and up. Tuck your chin in. It's not flattering, but it's necessary. And swap legs. You will feel it in your hamstrings, there's no doubt about it, but in order to, as I say, maximise this as a successful glute exercise, you really want to make sure that that's where you're feeling it the most. When you come up, really squeeze those glutes, bring your leg down with control. You can do this off the floor as well, it just makes it a little bit harder. 3, 4, all the way up, keep that pelvis nice and tight, get that nice straight line, drive through the midpoint of your foot, and rest. Okay, so I would do 6 on each leg, have a little rest in between, maybe a minute and a half, go for 3 sets of those. If you want to make it harder for yourself, you can add a resistance band over the top of your thighs.
If you're doing a full glute bridge, that's it. So you need both feet on the floor for that. Create a bit of resistance there. Drive all the way up. You can pop a weight. We're going to do hip thrust in just a moment, so I can run through that. Also, one thing that I forgot to mention is if you don't have any dumbbells or any kettlebells on those reverse lunges, but you do have a plate of some description, that's another really great exercise that you can do, where you thrust up at the same time as bringing your leg back. One, like that. It's a really, really good exercise. You can see my core working so much harder. Anyway, just gives you an idea. There's loads of variations here to work with. Hopefully some of you guys can watch this back, take some ideas, take big exercises and put them together for a successful leg and glutes exercise regime at home. Okay, right, we're going to move on to hip thrusts. Now, not a lot of you will have a barbell and a full set of plates. I fully accept that. So I'm going to demonstrate this with my milk bottle, and also I've got a small kettlebell as well. Okay, so I'm going to keep the bench in the same position. You're going to have the upper part of your back resting on the bench as before. So for that, I would recommend just putting something just to cushion your back a little bit. Okay, and pop yourself in that same position. Feet on the floor. I'm going to put my kettlebell on my pelvis, feet planted nice and close to my bottom, chin tucked in, squeeze, up I come. I can really feel that in my glutes, so I know that my feet are positioned in the right place. 2, 3, 4, squeeze those glutes, keep that chin tucked in. 2 more. And rest, okay? Pop that to one side. Now, if you have got a broom handle, like the one that we were using for our back squats earlier on, these are really, really great for practicing your hip thrust. I'm just going to bring my bar in. Really important that you position yourself, doesn't matter whether you use a heavy bar or a light bar, right in the middle, so you get that nice even distribution of weight on your body, okay? So, this is the only exercise that I ever use a pad for. I never use it to back squat because I like a full development of my traps. I like to be able to feel that bar when I come off that squat rack, but this one I'll make an exception, especially for you ladies. Very, very uncomfortable if you're going heavy on your pelvis and on your hips, okay? So, for when you get, this is more for when you get back into the gym, or if you have got a bar and a couple of plates at your disposal. You can use the sofa to rest on, or bench, or whatever you've got at your disposal. Get yourself nice and central on the bar, got your pads in place. Your hands are just going to loosely rest on here, feet planted on the floor. You're going to have those heels driving through, and your pelvis is going to come up in that thrust, nice and explosive. Your chin's going to stay tucked in. You don't want it kind of up like this. It's going to be back to your neck. Okay, so are we ready? Here we go. Nice and controlled on the way down. I'm going to go for 6. One of the advantages of having heavier weights for this is that you can just roll it on and off your legs nice and easily. Obviously, if you've got a lightweight bar, that's not going to make any difference, but that kind of medium weight makes it quite hard and awkward to get in and out of, and you're having to like lift it up. It's much easier to do with heavier plates because they're off the ground. Okay, but what you might notice about that exercise, all the time I've got my chin tucked in, I've got my feet firmly planted on the floor. Again, the distance between your feet and your bottom is absolutely crucial. because that's what's going to determine where you feel it, okay? So if you're lifting and thrusting upwards, and you're feeling it in your quads and your hamstrings, but you're not feeling it in your glutes, your feet are not in the right place, okay? Also, it could be to do with the way that you are connecting with your muscles and making them work for you. You've really got to make that mind-muscle connection when you do exercises like this. Okay, so, keep my eye on the time. Feet firmly planted on the floor. Nice and central on that bar. Make sure the pad's in the right place. Up, nice and explosive. Down with control. Good. If you are using a kettlebell or a milk bottle full of water or a broom handle, you're going to want to make this exercise that little bit harder for yourself. We can do what we did with the goblet squats. We can add that tension on the time by counting to 5 on the way down. You can add a pulse if you want to. There's all sorts of ways of making these exercises work for you. Okay, so just to run through what we've done today. We've done stretching, dynamic stretching at the start with our squat mobility drill. We've done back squats using our broom handle or a weight if you've got them. Goblet squat if you haven't with the pulse. Then we moved on to Bulgarian split squats, which are fantastic with or without the weight. Probably my favourite of this set and a really, really great one for doing a home workout. Then we did the reverse lunges, holding the dumbbell, single leg glute bridges and hip thrusts. If you did 3 sets of 8 to 12 rather, of those, that would make a superb home leg workout. If you need any hints or tips and you want to know how to make it work for you, please do drop me a DM. I never mind. I always like it when people are working out at home and keeping up their exercise routine as much as possible. Really, really important to stretch off as well. So just to finish off with today, I'm just going to show you a few of my favourite stretches. We're going to start with a pigeon stretch first of all. You're going to bring one leg underneath you, take one leg out behind you and lean all the way forward like so. So you feel a really, really good stretch in that hip flexor. Okay, just move back a bit so you can see me. All the way down. Feel a good stretch there. Bring yourself back up. Okay. Swap sides, make sure that we do both. Hold it there. 20 seconds should be enough. Okay, do a line quad stretch, you line in front, bring that heel into your bottom and hold it there. Work those legs pretty hard today. And swap sides. Be very flexible, you can bring both of them in at the same time. Okay, and then you're going to come up onto your knees. You're going to take one leg out to the side so that you feel a nice stretch on the other part of that thigh. Hold it there. And the other side. Okay, let's stretch off those triceps. I haven't done too much arms, but it's always worth just giving yourself a little stretch. I'm still feeling a bit sore from the other day, so I'll give them a good stretch off. And then take your arms all the way behind you. Good job, guys. Really, really well done. Thanks to those of you who joined me today. It's really nice to see you. It's nice to know that I'm not talking to myself. I will save this live to my feed for those of you who are following my 28-day plan. Do let me know how you're getting on with your workouts, and if you enjoy any of the stuff that I do, tag me in it because I want to know. Doesn't matter how big or small the achievement is, I'd love to know how you're getting on. Don't forget as well to drink plenty of water today. Tomorrow, if you're following the plan, is stretching and mobility. So if there's anything that you want to focus on, you've got tight shoulders, tight lower back or anything, give me a shout and I can do that. Otherwise, have a really great day.
And if you are doing this workout later, I hope you enjoy it. See you later.